I hope you're ready. You might want to sit on the edge of your seat because you never know what's going to happen at an Audigy event, and I think things are about to get really fun. So let's give him a warm Audigy welcome. Please welcome to the stage Phil Jones.
The secret I wanted to let you into is the secret to success. Anyone want to know it? The absolute secret for success. Now, I only want to tell you guys, don't want it to go outside the room, so I'm going to whisper. And here it is. It's the biggest, I'll just tell you. The biggest secret to other people's success or to your success is the desire to believe that it is possible. That is it. You will never, ever, 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 ever outperform your expectation. Not once. So let me make this crystal clear to you. In my world, I get to speak to audiences all over the world. And quite often, I get invited to meet their elite group of people. You know, the people who are the best of the best. I sit in a luncheon with these people, finding out what's happening in their world, finding out how the elite are performing. And I'm with a group of people in Denver, Colorado, get invited to one of these luncheons to meet the best of the best of the best of the best. They invite me and I think, what a great opportunity for me to ask questions of these successful people. The question I chose to ask was thus. I said, so how does it feel to be part of the Just Above Average Club? They did that too. They said, no, that's not what it's called. We're called like the Team Elite Superstars or some kind of really cliche title. I said, no, I've looked at the numbers. I looked at the metrics of what it takes for you to get inside this club, and you, my friends, are performing just above average. And they went, ooh. I said, why don't we just look at this a slightly different way? And the different way I'd like us to be able to look at this is imagine this. Imagine, say, for example, that you'd just been out on a romantic meal with a loved one. And the meal went particularly well. It went so well it resulted in them coming back to your home. Not just to your home, but a particular room in your home. They come to your bedroom. Following which is a night of wild, passionate lovemaking. And then a question is asked. The question that is asked is this. How was it for you, dear? Following which is the response, just above average. How happy and content would you be with the description of your performance in that environment? And my challenge to you guys is if we'd be less than satisfied there, why are we so satisfied in this workplace performing somewhere that is like just above average? I wonder how many times you could be sat there thinking, why are these other guys showing up? Because you do realize that you're in a competitive marketplace, the most competitive this marketplace has ever been. That is true. But you know why that competition exists? It's because you do. You set the bar for them to build their business from. The very fact that they're in this market is because you created this market. My challenge to you from here is to say what needs to happen next is your story to write. It's your story to go on and tell. It's things that people need to talk about you after you're done. And I wonder what starts to happen if we worry less about what other people are up to and more about what you can be doing to fix the real problem that's in front of you. Hi, Veronica. Nice to meet you. Veronica, see the pen that's in your hand right now? Can I borrow it from you? So this is Veronica's pen. Now, if this pen here was, say, just chucked down on a table in a yard sale, how much would the pen be? 20 cents, a nickel, nothing. Kind of not a great deal of money, right? What if I take the exact same pen, though, and I now put it in an acrylic stand? I put 12 identical pens alongside it in the compartment that it sits in, and in the adjacent compartments are other pens by the same manufacturer, making a beautiful display, and the manufacturer's name sits across the top of the acrylic stand, and the acrylic stand sits on the counter of a mid-price department store, something like a Macy's. How much now is the pen? It's the same pen! The exact same pen. What if instead, though, I now take the exact same pen and I lay it down on its side and I place it in a box, and the box is made of mahogany? So I have a pen in a mahogany box. This box is velvet lined, and this velvet lined box sits in the cabinet. Cabinet's made of glass. Glass cabinet is spotlit. So I have a pen in a mahogany box. It's velvet lined. Sits in the cabinet. Cabinet's made of glass. Glass cabinet is spotlit. This too sits in a department store. Not just any department store. This store is in London. It's in Knightsbridge. The store in question is called Harrods. So I have a pen in a mahogany box. It's velvet lined. Sits in the cabinet. Cabinet is made of glass. Glass cabinet is spotlit. This sits in a department store. Department store's in London. Not just anywhere in London. It's in Knightsbridge. The store is called Harrods. And to get to the pen, I need to speak to a member of staff. Member of staff is wearing a black tuxedo, has white gloves on. His name is Pierre. How much is the pen? It is the same pen. I do not know a better way of explaining to you guys that in every single market, there are people selling what seems to be the exact same thing for demonstrably different prices. What's the difference, though? The experience, the service, in fact, everything you mumbled and murmured, all of those things are true. See, it isn't the thing that's worth the money, is it? It's all the things that wrap around the thing. And I wonder how crystal clear that you guys are on all the things that wrap around what it is that you are doing. Because I don't believe that your patients are clear on it. And the biggest reason I believe that your patients aren't clear on it is because you guys aren't clear on it. Veronica, here's your pen. People are going to offer you a fortune for that later. I learned a beautiful lesson when I was 13 years of age. If anybody knows about my story, I started as an entrepreneur at 14 years of age. At 14, I was making more money than all of my school teachers. At 13, though, I had a problem. I thought of this problem yesterday when I was listening to Mason's story about the bike. Can't remember the name of the bike. What was the name of the bike? See, I wanted to see who else remembered. Rock Hopper was a great story. Now, I had a similar set of circumstances. At 13 years of age, what I wanted was a pair of trainers. That's what we call sneakers where I'm from. And I wanted this pair of trainers. They were Nike Air Contachs. They were £85. Now, this was a few years ago. That was a lot of money for a pair of trainers. So I did the thing that everybody would do at that given point in time. I asked Dad. I said, Dad, can I have these trainers? He gave me a similar answer to what Mason's father gave to him, right? It was a little shorter. It was 2 letters long, and it started with N. That's what I got. Now, I was puzzled by this for a while. I still wanted the trainers, and I found out a key piece of information. My best friend, Paul, was traveling to the United States of America. At the time, dollar for pound was like half. So, and the trainers that were £85 were $80, which meant that they were £40. So I went and asked Dad, and what did Dad say? No. So I thought I got a problem. Dad said to me, though, he said, I'll tell you what I will do, is you can come to work with me on Saturday. Now, my dad is a self-employed construction worker. He's worked for himself since he was 16 years of age, runs small building projects in and around the world. And Dad said I'd go to work for him. I said to him, like any normal person would, if I come to work, what will you pay me? He said, I'll pay you what you're worth. I didn't get it. I said, but no, really, what will you pay me? He said, you'll find out. 5:15 a.m., be ready Saturday morning, come to the job. I arrive at the job with my dad, traveling his van. His van is a mess. And we get to the job. What my dad has been doing for the last 3 days is there is a row house that had a roof full of slates on it, that now that roof full of slates is in the backyard. My job is to move the broken slates and woodwork from the backyard into what we call a skip, which is what you call a dumpster, right? So we got to move that from that. Now I look at it though, and the hole inside the dumpster is smaller than the pile of rubble. Dad says, I want you to fill that. I says, well, what happens when that's done? He says, well, if you fill it, I'll pay you £20. So that's pretty good. I said, what happens if I fill it and you're still here and there's time left in the day? He says, well, I suppose I could call, we could get another one to turn up, you could fill that. So what did Phil do? Filled the first one, Dad calls the skip, I fill the second one. It's like 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon. I'm wondering what to do now. Dad's still doing clever stuff up on roof. So I'm wondering what to do. I did what any normal 13-year-old kid would do. I knocked on the door of the house owner. I said, hey, I'm here working with my dad. I've cleaned out the yard, etc. Dad said he's still got 2 to 3 hours left of work. Is there something I could do for you to make use of my time? Guy said, yeah, sure. We got some boxes in the basement that need moving around. If you could tidy up some stuff in the front yard, that'd be great. And I just did it. And then at the end of the day, my dad was done, and I was excited because I earned £40. How much were my trainers? £40. The owner of the house at the end of the job said, thanks very much, Phil, gave me an envelope. I opened the envelope when I got into the van. Driving home, in the envelope was £45. I thought, great, the guy's paid me direct. He hadn't. The guy had paid me direct, and then my dad gave me another envelope with the £40 he had promised. I got paid £85 on my first day of work. And what I realized real quick was, nobody gets paid by the hour. You get paid by the value that you bring to the hour. I learned that lesson at 13 years of age. Now, what I don't tell anybody is what I did with the extra £45 is I bought a bucket and a sponge and a chamois leather and some car shampoo, and the next weekend I started a car cleaning business. It was that car cleaning business that at the age of 14 had me making more money than my school teachers. Where's the lesson in this, though? The lesson for you guys is that you will not get paid more money than you bring in terms of value for the hour that you have. And how much of your patient experience right now is in the technology? If you were to put a measure on it in percentage terms and said for the $7,000 I'm asking you to pay for the 2 microchips in plastic housing with tubes coming out at the end and domes on that, the $7,000 you're asking for, how much of that in percentage terms is in the technology? You can choose. 1/7 maybe? Maybe like 80-20? It's definitely not more though, is it? It's definitely not more product and less service. It's more service and less product, for certain, at least that. Yet what we fail to do is to articulate what happens in the moments around the technology so that the patient gets it. Here's a mathematical equation I'm going to ask you to do. Some of you might not manage to be able to do it right now, but I still want you to follow the equation regardless. Equation runs like this. How much money would you like to make in 2019? That's number 1. Second number that I want you to write down is how many weeks of the year are you going to be at work? Third number for you to write down is how many hours are you going to work in those weeks? So you realize we have 3 numbers? How much money you'd like to make, how many weeks that you're going to be at work, and how many hours you're going to work in those weeks. If you know those 3 numbers, you can calculate something beautiful. See, what you can do is you can take the first number, divide it by the second number, and then divide that by the third number, and you get a magic number. The magic number you're left with is your hourly rate. What you get is the sum of money that you need to get back for every single hour that you work, if you're going to work the weeks that you choose and the hours that you wish for in those weeks. See how the math works? Failure to know that number means that what you end up doing is giving too much of that time away too cheaply. See this set of doors over here, this set of doors over here, this does not go out into the corridor. That set of doors over there where the exit sign is, behind those doors is nothing. Just a sheer drop to the floor. We are not on the 4th floor here right now. We are 38 stories. We're top of this building. But behind that door, nothing. Sheer drop to the floor. But it's not, like, don't worry. Because 150 yards away is another building. Equally has a set of doors. And those 2 are 38 stories high. And from this building is a steel braided wire. It's perfectly fixed at our side of the building. And it's perfectly fixed across the way. Hot and sticky out there, though, in Vegas. It's a little slippy on the steel. And 150 yards does mean there's a little bounce in the middle of the rope. Now, I'm wondering, though, just for fun, who here in this room would like to walk that tightrope with me when we're done here today? What if I gave you $10? That change anything? No? All right, $50. Preston's like, I'm game. $100. 1,000? $10,000. It's kind of a, yeah. Some of you are asking questions now, like, is there a harness? Like, what else is going on? Can I have a Bloody Mary first? Like, those kind of questions are coming to mind, yes? Yet for most of you in this room, there is not a number I could get to that would make you want to do the thing you don't want to do, correct? What if, though, it was getting crikey warm in here? I mean, so warm that flames were licking at your face and smoke was filling up your lungs. And the only way out is through that door, across the tightrope, safe to the building on the other side. Who wants out right now? And I do not even need to pay you. I don't know a better way of explaining to you that people will not move to become more comfortable unless the heightened level of comfort for them is so great, yet people will always move when they're uncomfortable. Who wants this 3-stage questioning technique? Show of hands, who believes this time next year they'll be in a better situation than the one they're in right now? Only everybody. Use that to your advantage. First part of this questioning technique is to ask a plan-based question. And a plan-based question is something about their plans for the future. How many of your patients are looking forward to something? All of them. Certainly somewhere near most of them. I want you to find a set of circumstances in their life that they are looking forward to that hasn't happened yet. And get them to tell you their plans about it. Might be a wedding, might be a vacation, might be a move, might be a birth of a new grandchild. I don't know what it is, but the thing that is important to them, let them tell you about it, the thing that hasn't happened yet, and let them wax so lyrical about it, enjoy the conversation so much, knowing that as they're enjoying the conversation and you're being seen to enjoy the conversation, how are they feeling? Relaxed and pretty darn good. Do you know that it's easier to make decisions when you feel good? That's why when you come back from vacation, looking in your suitcase, thinking, what was I thinking at all this stuff I purchased? Right? Just a feel-good factor made you make the decision. So let's let them talk about their happy place, get them to a position of feeling good. Don't cut them off, don't paraphrase, just draw the information from them, get them to tell you their plans about a point in time in their future that has nothing to do with hearing that they are looking forward to. Make sense? Second part of the 3-stage questioning technique is simply to understand that people make decisions on emotion over logic. So we're going to ask a question that triggers emotion. And that question is going to be a how would you feel if question. Or how would you feel when. What I want them to do is to be able to tell me how they're going to feel when they've achieved the thing that they've just explained. So birth of your first grandchild, that sounds exciting. How will you feel when that's a reality? And they might need some encouragement to let it out. But let them go. Let them give you the good news. Man, I'd feel so proud. It's going to be so exciting. It's going to make such a difference. It's going to give us so many more opportunities to get together as a group. I'm so excited. They might say that, mightn't they? How are they feeling now about making a decision? See, what I've done is I've taken them to a happy place. And now I made it Peter Pan Neverland. That's how good it got, right? Do people move to become more comfortable? Some of the people, some of the time. Do people move when they're uncomfortable? More of the people, more of the time. So I've taken them to this happy place. I've shown them as good as it gets in their money. Third stage of this questioning technique. What are the consequences of it not working out? Here is the only point where I can bring it back to hearing. So what do the consequences be if they're on some of those special moments that you continue to feel reserved and that you're retracted from the truth of the situation because of the fact that you were finding it difficult to hear? What would the consequences of that be? What do they now see in their mind's eye? Ugh. Right? They just stared the monster in the face with truth and authenticity. Now that's a plan-based question. How are you going to feel when they get there and what happens if it doesn't work out? It does come with a health warning. You cannot ask a plan-based question how somebody's going to feel when they get there and what happens if it doesn't work out and then say to them, well, good luck. You have to say, well, the good news is that's exactly why we're talking today. The good news is it's great that we're talking now. And what you can now say is you can say, look, because of the fact that you said that what you're really looking to be able to do is to hear better here, 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 and here, referencing case history. But most importantly, because you cannot afford to miss one of those key moments at the birth of your new granddaughter, it's for those reasons what I recommend we do is we move forward with blank. See how that changes the strength of a recommendation? Why don't we put a fact up front on that too? Taking into account the results of your audiogram. Boom, strong logic. And because of the fact that you said that you'd like to hear better, here, and here, but most importantly, because of the fact that you said that you cannot afford to miss a sound at insert blank, it's for those reasons we recommend. In the medical industry, they say that prescription before diagnosis is malpractice. Do the work and collect the evidence so you move from selling products and recommending solutions because you truly understand the problem and everything changes. So ladies and gents, I've been Phil Jones. I wish you all the success in the world that you're prepared to work for. Thank you so much for having me.